We were flying a mission, and we were looking out the windows and all of a sudden we saw something whiz by like that. It was gone. And we started thinking, what in the world was that? And we decided it didn't have a propeller on it. We had never seen a jet aircraft before, but it was probably moving at 500, 600 miles an hour. And here we are flying maximum speed 150 miles an hour. So we thought if they had gotten that plane into production a year sooner, then it might have been a completely different story, because we couldn't have stood up to that kind of a fighter. They were just too fast for us.
She didn't speak a word of English. We didn't speak a word of Italian. And we hadn't met this woman before. My father brought her home one day and said, "This is your new mother."
And I met his friend and I say, "Where is Peter?" And he said, "Oh, you didn't know?" He said, "He's in Austria." In the meantime, a few days later, I got his postcard. Vse nazaj, kaj ni bilo dobro od moje strani. Pa ti sedaj pošiljam dunajsko razglednico in se zmisli kaj na mene. So, in the morning, 6 o'clock, we got up and we went on the train, go towards the mountains. But that was the end of October, and we started climbing the mountains, and I had that card that I belong with mountain climbers. So we went, and my sister started to get tired. She said, "I want to rest." I said, "A little longer, and then we're going to be probably safe. We go." But then the rain started, the snow started falling, and she was tired. "I can't go anymore, I have to rest." I say, "Okay, just let's go behind the bushes and we're going to have lunch and then we go ahead." So we did all that. We started going ahead, and behind us, somebody make a noise with a machine gun, "Stop or I'll shoot."
And right about that time, we had come around and we were on a broad reach and looked up to the west, and you could see just an angry lip of a squall line coming across. And Rufford capsized. This was cold water. This was in May. And that's when I saw in Jack, Jack's kind of a quiet man, but there is a strength in him, that Jack finally reached out and touched Rufford on the forearm and said, "Rufford, get dried off and go home." And Rufford kind of stiffened, almost to attention, and said, "You're right," and marched off to his car to get his dry clothes.
There was more colorful language than that.
You have to have a sense of humor. Really and truly you do. And he does have a sense of humor. Most people only know his serious side, but he can be a lot of fun.
What she's saying about me is strictly prejudiced.
You put that string and the gum down there and kind of fish around with it. Pretty soon you'd feel a kind of a bite on it, and we'd bring the string up slowly, and sure enough, there'd be a tarantula on the end of that gum, and we'd take it and put it in a what we call a mason jar, glass jar, put the lid on it, and pretty soon we'd have 2 or 3 of those tarantulas, and we'd put them in that jar and let them fight.
And like I said, my brother and myself, we were always singing. He had his song and I have mine, and we sing together. Mine was Que Sera Sera. That was my favorite song. Do I remember my first kiss? Oh my God, yes I do. We got to the bridge, it's a covered bridge, and that was after 11 o'clock when we were going home. And that fellow, he wanted to kiss me. I was fighting. I was so tired. I didn't want to have a kiss. I didn't want a kiss from that guy. And he was fighting me and holding my hand so tight. I was all red and black and blue. And I was fighting. And finally, he won. He gave me a kiss. And I pulled out a bang. I hit him.
In order to be accepted here by the society here, you had to adapt to the American way of living. And he was all for new and modern things. I remember when he bought my mother an electric iron. And all her friends came over to see it. It was a big thing.
Probably running out of either belly or the space on his shirt or something, but we'll take care of that somehow. But I'm so pleased that I have 14 little kids that came out of our marriage. Whew, boy, what a blessing. And they are truly a blessing from God. It's a gift from God that you get all of these descendants because you didn't strangle your teenagers.
One of the things that I would pass on to others is don't sell yourself short, and don't waste a lot of time. You got to spend as much time as you can with your children, with your grandkids, so that you don't miss out on everything that goes on. It's just so easy to let it slip by, and you miss it.